Cú ya phía và cú hồi nhà đầu Fresno County là nhà đầu nằm cú ya và refugee community liaison hậu lu có liên lu xong lu có liên lu và thì có xa xong hot xe cú mọi thứ tu hay là viết vang như nhóm người có xa xong trên tàu John so share viết chữ như từ miệng mong lúa hàng nhẹ ba lực tụ năng tàu cha lực khăn thì thâu nữ bỏ tàu tiệt nữ itu very sensitive bị tiệt nữ xem nữ mày mà cũng bị hết tiệt nữ nên chạy cho lụt xe này là luôn đấy thì nữ họ tạo nữ chỉ cho nên mà thả lúa hàng tiệt chán dầu nhưng mà cởi tàu y hong nữ tu này khu để rộng chạy mà trong tủ ta chỉ khu bao chỉ tàu cái tụi này khu chỉ nhận này, cho nên nó nhà liền như tụi này chơi hà lù chơi, cái thâu cây tụi mình chơi hà lù nó chơi lúa phết còn nhiều, lúa hay để có hai có tàu, để rồi có chuột lúa mua có tìm bè liu đi nó thế, cho nên như tụi này sensitive hàng cái thâu công lên nó, có chỉ trong kia cái này có chỉ nếu họ làm chạy kia cũ thì chỉ là hồi nó cũ, nếu chỉ xa cái cú một cái như thế này là giờ tiền như sao để cho hai lý chế để rồi trên này từ mình nhớ thắp lao hàng chỉ mong lù thì nó sao nó giờ cho con chơi xa hàng để thâu lu vi còn mình giờ chọn số xe đấy cú nông này cho con từ counselor cú nông này thì nếu mấy hông là cỡ chỉ tàu bây giờ thì cú nông này thì giờ lý trả có thể lý có thể lý cỡ chỉ tàu không nông hàng giờ bị trả nó chỉ nếu cho hai đứa cụ thì tụi này khu nó mà nếu sai sao cụ thì giờ thôi tụi mình nhớ hai đứa tụi con là cái bao thì giờ bị trả thì cụ thì giờ là có bao xa cái cụ trả tụi thằng cụ thả là giờ cho người thả thì cụ tụi bị chết nó hai cụ thì chỉ cụ về tụi mình lo lại cái giờ nào cụ hiện tại tao cụ phát tăng bây giờ thì cụ sai cái ba của này cụ mà hay có để thâu lên đời để tàu thì ông không bên đặc ca thì người tàu sẽ để cụ chỉ bao chỉ mà lùi chạy là một ba này thì gia đình thì để đặc ca cụ mà đi mỗi cho nó cho làm chuột sửa thiên thần thì phong như từ trong tủ thả để bao để ý khó được những người mà gia đình nên chạy chạy tới rồi những kiaอยู่hay chạy nữaเลยฮะเดี๋ยวเนี่ยเขาป้องห้องเลยเนี่ยเกิดจากขนาดรองเจเนี่ยอันใช้จะอยู่ในสิ่งนั้นเขาจำหัวจูแต่รู้เชิงเดี๋ยววิอยู่เขาหรือเขาลองตัวเนี่ยชิปเอาเดี๋ยวหมดทักให้ลืมตื่นเดินจะแต่งนั้นเดินเดี๋ยวเนี่ยเราอุดรเนี่ยบอลหรือข้างเดี๋ยวทบเกินเนี่ยชิมว่าเชิงแต่เนี่ยสองสัปดาห์กูปอต่อเดี๋ยวไปเนี่ยตัวรู้ร้อนมาไปจังมั่วนั่นเต้าอยากเกี่ยรัวใช้ต่อไปจังหนึ่งmột thế ạ, bé chỉ nhỏ cỡ là bé chỉ nhỏ tàu kế ba là chỉ bé chỉ một.
AB78 is a true tribute to the Hmong youth. And the reason I say that is because between 1998 and 2002, 8 Hmong adolescents in Fresno County committed suicide. The string of suicides accounted for nearly half of Fresno County's teen suicides in the last 4 years. And even though the Hmong are just 3% of the region's population, for all of you young people, this bill is your future. We must ensure that the Hmong youth learn that their history is filled with heroes, so that they can hear about the sacrifices that their family members made and became heroes to the United States. AB 78, it is meant to honor people like Colonel Vang, who is with us, and Colonel Wang Li Vang, also with us, of the Lao veterans. It's meant to honor them as well as the thousands of other Hmong veterans who fought alongside American troops. While fighting in the secret war at Laos, it was the Hmong soldiers who blocked supplies headed for South Vietnam and served as the primary anti-communist forces in Laos. And they did that putting their lives on the line so that our soldiers could survive and come back to their families. Today, unfortunately, most Americans, and I dare say even Californians, and some Vietnam veterans are unaware of the secret war in Laos. That will change when AB 78 becomes law. AB 78 is an important first step to ensure that the history of the Hmong and Southeast Asian veterans is discussed and appreciated and never forgotten.
My name is Sarah Reyes. I'm the Assembly Member for the 31st Assembly District in Fresno. One of the ladies, Dua Vu, said we talked about the suicides that were happening among Hmong children in the Central Valley, and she talked about the fact that nobody knew the history of the Hmong involvement in Vietnam and the role models that they were. And so we said that we could change that, and we could change that through legislation. And as the Assembly member who represents the area, I thought it was important that we told those stories to students every day in classrooms. And so we sponsored and I authored AB 78, which is the bill that would include the teaching of the Hmong and Southeast Asian involvement in Vietnam. It's very important that people know their history and that other communities know their history. Because if we know each other and we know our involvement in America, that we become more sensitive to each other. And so for me, telling the story of the Hmong veterans and the Southeast Asian veterans' involvement in Vietnam was important so that young people have role models, so that Americans understand that our new immigrants, the Southeast Asian, were saving our soldiers, were part of this American democracy long before they came to this land. And so I thought it was important that we told that story, and I think that's why we decided to do AB 78. AB 78 will be a stepping point for people to understand that it doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from, where you were born, but that if you believe in democracy, if you believe in being there for somebody else, that can happen. That people from a foreign land helped our soldiers, and now they're here and they are American, as I am, as anybody else is. And that I hope that in the future we'll be able to tell their stories every single day, whether it was the involvement of Vietnam or whether it was what their first was, the first principal, the first elected official, those stories need to be told. And if they're told, I think then they become more part of the American history and a more part of our history in this country. And I'm hopeful that that's what AB 78 will do, that it won't just be taught here in California, but it'll be taught across the country, and that other states will take up this issue and hopefully be able to tell those stories in their classrooms.
The Vietnam War touched almost everyone in this country. Hundreds of thousands of Americans served. I was proud to be one of them. I know many of you served, and nearly 60,000 people died. But we didn't fight this war alone. We had strong allies from Southeast Asia. We had people fighting with us in Vietnam and in Laos. These brave men and women fought side by side with American forces. They deserve to be thanked. They deserve to be recognized. And finally, AB 78 says that. It says we want to thank Hmong for fighting with American forces. We want to thank them for putting their lives in peril. And we want our history books to tell the story of their heroic service to America. When I sign AB 78, we will be making history today. And we'll be making sure that history does not forget the heroic contributions of Southeast Asians in Laos and in Vietnam. The bill specifically will encourage history teachers to instruct students about the war in Laos and the contributions of Southeast Asians during the Vietnam War. I'm honored to sign this bill. I'm honored to salute all of you who fought side by side with Americans in Vietnam. And I'm honored to be part of recognizing a contribution that went far too long without us saying thank you and in a tangible way showing our gratitude for your heroic service in that war.
As important as it is that this unprecedented bill finally recognizes the role of the Hmong and other Southeast Asians and the U.S. secret war in Laos, let us all remember that the more fundamental aspect of this bill is to improve the lives of the Southeast Asian children in our American society. When we looked at what students learn about the Vietnam War in their history classes, the secret war in Laos and the role the Hmong played is never mentioned. Even though the United States government approached the Hmong and Hmong troops fought side by side with American troops, not to mention that many Hmong soldiers saved numerous American troops from capture, we are left out of history books. Our courage is still a secret. So AB 78 is a first step in making sure not only Hmong youths but also all Californian youths understand the sacrifices that the Hmong and other people from Southeast Asia made. We cannot afford to keep any more secrets, because if we don't confront our problems, we will be left with more tragedies. AB 78 will help Hmong American children to realize that their parents are heroes among American veterans, and that being Hmong is no less valuable than being American. This will help our Southeast Asian students to develop a stronger aspiration to emulate their parents' heroic deeds and to excel in the school system in order to give back to the community. And let us continue to work together to ensure that all students have full knowledge of our U.S. history, take pride in their roots, and work progressively toward academic success in the schools.